And joining me in studio to break down the wild weekend in the World Cup is i24 News sports contributor Pablo Duer. He is an expert with this stuff. I'll tell you why. In our i24 News little competition, our pool, I have 4 points. I'm like in last place. Pablo is leading the leaderboard right now with 14 points. Doesn't matter what those points mean. He's in top. He's in first position. You know your stuff. But I want to ask all of the favorites, right, so far, Spain, Argentina, Germany, Brazil, none of them won the game. What was going on this weekend?
So what could be happening, Jeff, is the fact that, first of all, the pressure, it's a big deal for many of the players. Like, for example, Messi, we saw him missing a penalty against Iceland. Another thing might be the defensive approach that many teams are using against these teams. For example, again, the case of Iceland and for Switzerland as well yesterday against Brazil. You can see them having a very defensive approach. They're not trying to attack. They're not having an offensive approach. And hence, they're getting ties in the last minutes of the game.
All right, so of those pre-tournament favorites, the clear favorites, Spain, Argentina, Germany, Brazil, none of them outright won. Which one of those teams do you think will be okay in the end? Which one looks really bad, like may not even advance out of the group stage bad?
So the one that I think looks the worst is Argentina, mostly because of the other rivals that they have in the group. It's one of the toughest groups, and Croatia is pretty tough, and Nigeria is also very hard to beat. The one that looks the best, I think, is Spain. They had a great game. They played very well. They dominated Portugal all over the game.
A weak goal or two, and then...
And what happened was that Cristiano Ronaldo was there on the other side, and he just scored a hat-trick.
All right, so do you think Argentina, you're Argentinian, do you think they get out of the group?
Hopefully, yes. I think we will get out of the group, but it's going to be very tight. I don't think we're going to defeat Croatia on Thursday, but if we defeat Nigeria next week, we're going to probably go through the group. But then we'll have to face France in the round of 16, and that's pretty tough.
All right, so let's talk about the games today. What's in store tonight? What's got your attention?
So the first game that we have today is Sweden versus South Korea. That's not a very exciting game, but it's important to see what's going to happen with Germany as well for the future of their group as well. Then we have two very interesting games, not so competitive, but still two big contenders for the World Cup are playing their first game. One of them is Belgium versus Panama, a very easy game for them. Panama, let's remember, it's almost as weak as Saudi Arabia that took 5 goals to Russia, so that shouldn't be a problem for Belgium. England, one of the main contenders, and many people here in i24 News are have a lot of expectations regarding England in the World Cup.
Yeah, but they don't have 14 points like you do, so you...
Indeed, but they have a game against Tunisia, which is not the easiest, but again, it's not a very hard match, and it should be okay for them.
All right, I want to ask also, lastly, your review of this video assistance technology. The first time it was debuted in the World Cup, it was used several times. How do you think it went? Was it a smooth process?
So I don't think it's a smooth process so far. I think it's interesting developments, but I don't think the players, nor the referees, nor the fans are used to it. You can even see, like, for example, the penalty that was awarded to France against Australia. It took them like 45 seconds after the penalty had happened for them to award it. But the next game, Argentina, there was a suspected penalty against an Argentinian player, and they didn't call it at all, which raised a lot of controversy. Like, why don't you even check the penalty? So it's still developing, and we're still trying to understand how they're going to use it.
All right, Pablo Duer breaking it down.